Welcome to a comprehensive and exciting deep dive into what could be Apple's most ambitious iPhone project yet. Because a new leak has revealed fresh details about Apple's first ever foldable iPhone. And if this information turns out to be accurate, Apple is preparing a device that doesn't just follow existing foldable trends, but completely rethinks them from the ground up. According to details shared by the well-known Weibo leaker digital chat station, Apple is developing what's described as a wide foldable iPhone, a term commonly used to describe a horizontally oriented, book-style foldable device with a large internal display, similar in form factor to devices like the Galaxy Z Fold, but with Apple's own unique priorities, and the biggest priority highlighted in this leak is thinness, because Apple has reportedly made several major design decisions specifically to reduce the overall thickness of the chassis, which has always been one of the biggest criticisms of foldable phones, as many users find them bulky, heavy, and awkward when folded. And Apple seems determined to solve that problem from day one. And one of the most surprising decisions Apple has allegedly made is the use of a side-mounted Touch ID fingerprint sensor, marking a potential return of Touch ID in a flagship iPhone. And according to the leaker, Apple chose not to include 3D Face ID hardware or 3D ultrasonic under-display fingerprint sensor, because both systems would add internal volume and make it harder to keep the device thin. And this decision is fascinating because it shows Apple is willing to sacrifice some of its signature technologies if it means delivering a better overall form factor, and a side-mounted Touch ID integrated into the power button would not only save space, but also work reliably whether the device is folded or unfolded, offering practical usability advantages in a foldable design. And while some fans may initially miss Face ID, many users still appreciate Touch ID for its speed, simplicity, and reliability, especially in situations where face scanning isn't convenient. And another major highlight of this leak is the hinge, which Digital Chat Station describes as being engineered to a very strong standard. And while no deep technical details are provided, this aligns perfectly with long-standing industry expectations that Apple is placing enormous emphasis on hinge durability and crease reduction, two areas where foldable devices have historically struggled. Because hinges are not just mechanical components. They define the entire user experience of a foldable phone, affecting how smooth the opening and closing feels, how visible the crease is, and how long the device lasts under daily use. And Apple's reputation for obsessing over engineering details suggests that this hinge could set a new benchmark for the industry, potentially reducing the crease visibility to a minimum and offering long-term durability that matches Apple's premium standards. And when we move to the displays, things get even more interesting, because the leak claims that the current engineering prototype features a 7.58-inch internal display, which will place it firmly in tablet territory when unfolded, making it ideal for multitasking, productivity, content consumption, gaming, and creative work. And this internal display is said to include an under-panel front-facing camera, often referred to as a UPC, or under-panel camera, which allows the camera to sit beneath the display layer, eliminating visible cutouts, notches, or holes when the camera is not in use. And if Apple can pull this off with acceptable image quality, it would result in a truly immersive, uninterrupted display experience, something Apple has been striving toward for years. And this also raises big questions about the future of the dynamic island, because it's unclear whether Apple plans to adapt it for foldable displays, remove it entirely on the internal screen, or reserve it only for the external display. And speaking of the external display, the leak claims Apple is using a 5.25-inch panel with a punch-hole camera implemented via a HAA, or hole inactive area design, which minimizes inactive screen space around the cutout, resulting in a cleaner and more modern look. And this external display will allow users to quickly check notifications, reply to messages, take calls, and use essential apps without unfolding the device, which is crucial for everyday convenience. And once again, it's unclear how Apple will handle interface elements like the dynamic island here, but knowing Apple, any solution will be tightly integrated into iOS to feel natural rather than forced. And on the camera front, the foldable iPhone is rumored to feature a dual 48-megapixel rear camera system described as having a large base, which suggests physically larger sensors rather than just high pixel counts. And this is important because sensor size plays a huge role in image quality, low light performance, and dynamic range. And Apple has consistently prioritized real-world photography over spec sheet marketing, So a dual camera system with large sensors could deliver flagship level imaging without the bulk of a triple camera setup, helping keep the device thin while still meeting user expectations for premium photography and beyond the hardware details. Digital Chat Station adds an interesting industry-wide observation, stating that the foldable smartphone segment will be reinvigorated next year, implying renewed momentum after a period of slower growth and incremental updates. And this is significant because foldables have reached a point where innovation has slowed, prices remain high, and many consumers are waiting for a truly refined experience before making a jump, and Apple entering the market could be the catalyst that pushes foldables into the mainstream, forcing competitors to improve quality, durability, and software optimization. And the leaker also reiterates an earlier claim that Samsung is evaluating a new wide-format foldable device, which suggests that Apple's plans may already be influencing competitors behind the scenes, even before an official announcement. And it's worth noting that Digital Chat Station has a relatively strong track record when it comes to Apple leaks, having accurately revealed the overall design of the iPhone Air and iPhone 17 Pro, the triple 48-megapixel rear camera system of the iPhone 17 Pro, slimmer bezels and promotion display upgrades for the standard iPhone 17, camera sensor details for the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus, and even the display panel design of the iPhone 12, which adds credibility to these new claims. Although, as always with leaks, nothing is final until Apple officially announces it, and plans can change during development, but taken together, these details paint a clear picture of Apple's philosophy for its first foldable iPhone. Prioritize thinness, durability, and user experience over flashy but bulky features. Focus on engineering excellence rather than rushing to market, and integrate foldable hardware deeply into iOS rather than treating it as a novelty. And now for the recommendation. If you're someone who's been curious about foldable phones but hesitant due to concerns about durability, thickness, software polish, or long-term support, Apple's rumored approach suggests it may be worth waiting, because Apple typically enters new product categories only when it believes it can deliver a refined experience that meets its standards. And if these leaks are even partially accurate, the foldable iPhone could redefine expectations for the entire category. So stay informed, be patient, and watch how this story develops, because the next generation of smartphones may look very different. And if you want to stay ahead of Apple leaks, future tech trends, and deep dive explanations that actually make sense, keep following